Hey guys, how's it going? This is Luke Dooley. I'm the president at Ocean Programs, and keeping with our commitment to you all, we're going to start showing up on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube, and eventually we hope to be able to be on LinkedIn as well, and just to have some conversations in the midst of this interesting moment that we're all experiencing together. So right now, whether you're watching this live, whether you're going to catch the replay later on, our hope is that in the next 15 minutes or so, by having a conversation with a leader who is navigating this with expertise, with excellence, who has some really practical insights to share on how us as leaders, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business leader, someone who aspires to be someday, that you would be able to pick up some things, learn some things, and understand, okay, how does this apply right now in the crisis moment that we're all experiencing? And frankly, how does that continue to apply on the other side of this, which will hopefully come for all of us sooner rather than later. So now I'm going to bring in our guest today. I'm super excited to be joined by a friend of mine, someone I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, who's just added a ton of value to our world here at Ocean and to many entrepreneurs that we work with. Her name is Kendra Ramirez. I'm going to pull her in here now. Hi, Kendra.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you. Hey, Kendra is the leader of the Kendra Ramirez digital agency. And I'm just going to let her tell you a little bit about what that means and the kind of work that she does for clients.
Yeah, so gosh, we're going on year 14 of doing digital work, and we serve small businesses all around the world. And when digital to us is websites, social media management, lead generation, and talent generation. And so we just have a heart for small businesses. Even though I have Fortune 500 background, I love being able to be nimble and move quickly. I don't have to wait 6 months for decisions or 40 people to make those decisions. And so being able to help businesses move the needle for business development or talent generation.
That's good. I'm so sorry. I muted my mic because my kids are right there banging on the patio door, because this is the world that we're all living in, right?
Yes.
This is the environment that we're all operating in the midst of. So Kendra, you're navigating this digital landscape. You've been doing this for a long time. I know you work with a distributed team. You lead a distributed team. You were just talking about, tell folks kind of how long you've been working remote and where your team is at. And then, man, what just in that experience of your life of working remote as a leader, what have you learned, and what are you passing on to people right now that are probably calling you frantic going, oh my gosh, you know how to do all this cool digital tech stuff, like help me figure it out. Like, what are you telling people?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have absolutely been on many calls like this of how to use Zoom and how to do video and how do you stay connected, to teams. And so our team, we have 8 full-time team members across the US. Everyone works from home. We've been remote from day one. I've been working remote for over 13 years. And so it's just how we've always done it. And just because with digital, it doesn't matter where we are. And I just want, the best team members involved. And so we are a lot of video calls, a lot of Slack channel, a lot of humor, check-ins, huddle sessions, just see where everyone is. And we do those, quick calls to see where everyone is and what's going on, and then pointing the direction for priority. And so, yes, I've taken a lot of calls the past couple of weeks, just navigating how to set these up and what tools to use. And there's just so many fantastic tools to do this. And my hope is this brings more flexibility to the work environment for people that haven't been afraid to do remote work, that you can actually be really productive and that you don't have to physically see someone to have a productive team.
Oh, that's good. Is it possible right now in this age to over communicate with your teams?
I don't know about over communicate. I think it's about communicating the correct things. I think if you're over communicating from the mindset of micromanaging, that's a no-go, big no-go. And if you're over communicating because you're caring for your team members and you're caring for your clients, that's a good thing. And so I think it's about the mindset of how we're communicating. So definitely over communicating with the team and leading first. I would say those first couple of calls that you do with your team on video calls is just navigating video. This is how you do your screen. This is how you use chat. This is how you make sure you're not on video when you drag your laptop to the bathroom.
That was terrible. That poor lady.
I know. And so this first couple of, is just navigating the waters and having lots of flexibility and grace and compassion for each other that, hey, there might be a mom and a kid climbing over. There might be dogs that enter the room. There might be things that go on, and that's okay. And so just making sure we're communicating from a place of caring about the person versus a place of fear. It's really interesting to me to watch how different leaders are stepping up. We're in full mode of fight or flight. We have some leaders that their hair's on fire and they're laying people off and they're shutting down marketing and they're shutting down training and they're shutting things down. And I'm like, time out. Like, let's, come from a place of let's seek to understand what's really going on and put a plan together and communicate that plan with the team members. I was on a call just this morning with someone that said a plan still has not really truly been communicated. And she shared that she doesn't even feel heard in her organization by her leaders. She's a mom of 3 young kids. And so she's just like, I am being asked to do all these things, and that's fine, and it'll get done. It just may not get done in the time frame that they are asking. And she said it was just disappointing that they just aren't listening to the team. And I cannot express that enough. Our jobs as leaders right now is just to listen. Just listen. And something I loved, I was a part of Vistage for several years. And one of the things I always loved about their meetings is they would start a meeting with, on a scale of 1 to 5, where are you personally and where are you professionally? And I think that's where we need to bring that back into our meetings. Before diving in and going directly into a business meeting with your team, we need to do a check-in with each other. How are we doing? We need to address that first before we can just dive in and be a pure business meeting.
Yeah, that's so good. I think I would add to that. We have to do that same check-in with ourselves. Right.
Yes.
We have to understand what we're currently bringing into that moment and into that conversation. Because if I'm at a 0 personally and I'm trying to show up all of a sudden as a 5 professionally for my team, it's probably that charade is probably not going to work very long. Right. No. And so we have to kind of both, I think, be aware of that for ourselves and then also be vulnerable enough to but just bring a little bit to bear. Hey guys, it's kind of a rough day here. There's a lot going on at our home, and my head's not fully in the game, but I'm showing up for you all the best I can. And I think that's being able to communicate that way. And I think for bosses and leaders, for owners, founders that have teams, to be able to communicate in a way that gives people the freedom to say that and creates an environment where that transparency is accepted and encouraged, right? Yeah. You talked a lot. You mentioned this word a couple times and what we were just talking about, this idea of mindsets. And I know that's something you've been thinking a lot about lately. I've been talking about mindsets a lot. I wrote some words about it last week that we put out at Ocean, just around, man, what's our attitude? What's our mindset? How are we showing up into this moment? Almost kind of that idea of like, are we going to waste the coronavirus moment, or are we going to say, man, I seized that and got as much out of it as I could? Yes, there's immense amounts of pain and toil and loss that will come of this, but there's also a great amount of opportunity. How does our mindsets kind of affect how we show up in moments of crisis like this?
Yeah, I've been studying mindset work for over 5 years now, and actually started a whole company around mindset called Reset. So I own a second company called Reset, and I am very much about capturing our mindset, right? Just like, one of my favorite verses is 2 Corinthians 10:5, capture your thoughts, right? That is really, really important for us right now because we can send ourselves into a spiral. And so it's being mindful of our thoughts, feelings, and actions and understanding what we're thinking. Maybe we're in the what ifs of, what if I lose my job? What if, my business fails? What if? What I encourage people is shift the what ifs. What if you started your business tomorrow? You get an opportunity to hit the reset button. If we started our business tomorrow, how would we restart it? Where would we start? Who would we serve? And so to me, this is an opportunity for us to step back and say, all right, what are products and services we could be bringing to the table? What if we shifted target audiences? Maybe we called on one industry and that industry is struggling right now. Maybe we need to shift to see, can we align our products and services with another industry? And so I encourage people just to shift the what ifs to what is possible, and giving us an opportunity to say, what are other things that we can be doing? And we're seeing it everywhere. Like, I love how our community is showing up, and businesses are shifting, like the distillery that has stopped the distillery piece, and they're making hand sanitizers, and other organizations that you've got remodeling contractors and tattoo shops that are donating all their gloves and masks. You have just people showing up and serving. Like, it's so heartwarming to see. And so for me, from day one, I've said, let's look for the good, right? Look for the good that's happening, of how people are reaching out. I saw where one mom, she's a fitness trainer, and she's got 3 young ones at home, and she's starting to do fitness classes from her home, and you can follow, her there. And she had shared a post 2 weeks ago about just being really overwhelmed. Well, someone gifted her some the little shower fizzies or whatever, and it's called Keep Calm. And then they bought it from a local company. I think it's called the Oakley Soap Shop or Oakley Soap Co. And they gifted that to her. And I was like, what a beautiful thing, right? Like that, that helps her. It helps the local shop, and they were able to, just ship that to her. And so we're seeing a lot of those things, and I would love to see more of those. So if you've got stories to share, drop them in the comments. Tell us what you're seeing out there of where we're seeing the good. And every bit of those actions are about mindset, of someone saying, hey, I'm not going to just sit back and do nothing. I'm going to take action. And just being a listening ear is really, really helpful. Last Thursday, we did a whole day of mindset coaching, and some speakers, some coaches, some topics, and we talked about finding joy in chaos, overcoming anxiety, how to be empathetic towards team members and what's going on when we may be serving from an empty place ourselves. And so it was just a great, great day. And then we're going to do another one of those on Thursday for entrepreneurs and business owners. So I've just been thrown, just like you, Luke, right? We just said, let's just throw ourselves in, and what can we do to serve?
So I love that idea, first of all, of shift your what ifs. You're going to talk more about that on Thursday during this workshop online or webinar online. Where can people find that?
Yeah, if you go to thereset.co, thereset.co, if you go to the videos tab, we've got all of our different sessions, posted. We did all the recordings from last Thursday, and those will be posted. I'm finishing those up. I'll have those done at the end of the day as well. And or you can connect with me on any of the social channels under Kendra Ramirez, and happy to point you in the right direction.
Cool, and we'll share some of that in the comments down below too. Kendra, I want to ask you, as we kind of angle towards the end here, I want to talk about some practical business stuff in the midst of this. I've heard people saying things like, I don't even know how to sell in this environment. How could I possibly market my product or ask someone to pay for something right now? When it feels like that feels really tone deaf. I think there's 2 factors at play. I think some people are paralyzed by the situation, and it feels so tone deaf, and it feels wrong to capitalize right now in this moment. And then I think a lot of people are going, everything's free right now. Every brand is giving everything away for free. Taco Bell tomorrow, you can just go through the drive-thru and get a free taco anytime tomorrow. It's like, well, okay, everyone's giving something away for free, and I'm all of a sudden going to start marketing my thing. How does business go on right now? And specifically in this digital marketing conversation, how do you lean into that well and responsibly?
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing as well. There's a lot of fear in regards to sales and marketing. And if anything we learned from what happened in 2008 is you can't stop marketing. That's something we definitely learned. Businesses, it took longer for them, those that just put everything on pause, it took longer for them to ramp back up afterwards. I just encourage people to go look through their content, especially if you've got it scheduled. Go look through your content and make sure that it's still in alignment and not going to cause any concerns or issues with what's there. I think too is just looking through just from a human's perspective. What do your clients need? And I really encourage you, get out of email, like pick up the phone. People are available right now and they're really happy to talk, and maybe pick up the phone and call and just listen to client needs and say, hey, what can I do to help? So we can't be in full-on aggressive mode, hunter mode, where we're just merely trying to sell somebody right now. First of all, that was no-go even before the situation we were in. I would say sales should never feel like sales. If it feels like sales or it makes you squeamish, then you're doing it wrong. Sales really is problem solving. And if you truly have a solution to someone that you're going to help grow their business, you know, if we have good sales teams right now, that means more people get to stay employed. And so we have to look at it through that lens of, hey, if sales does their job, then it allows people to be able to stay employed. So doing it from a problem-solving aspect, doing it from an education standpoint, and if it feels squeamish, it's just about how we're approaching it. And is this truly something that's going to solve a problem for a business that may help that business grow? And if it's going to help them grow, then why wouldn't you? That's kind of like holding back your own gifts and abilities that you've been given, right? That's our job, to show up even bigger and louder now with those gifts and talents.
That's good. So I heard keep pressing in, think about it through a human lens, make sure you're not disruptive, and then make sure you're doing relational work, and making sure that you're actually connected. I thought it was really actually insightful. You're right. People are available right now. They can pick up the phone. They're interested in a conversation actually right now. So Kendra, thank you for jumping on. We promised folks 15 minutes. We're slightly over, so we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for jumping on with us. We look forward to your webinar on Thursday. Thanks for putting together so many great resources for entrepreneurs and owners in this current moment, and just being a great voice for our community.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kendra. We'll see the rest of you guys on Wednesday and Friday of this week. We're going to be back at 3 p.m. every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the foreseeable future. We're excited about this. Can't wait to help you kind of continue to learn and grow in this moment. We have some great folks lined up that are going to be part of these broadcasts. Thanks for joining us.